And then another question I had is kind of like now getting back to like having the real world, getting back into where, things is like getting quote unquote back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching a lot of your videos on like, different ways to have like different like incomes, with the phone trading, the ATMs and just like other side hustles. I'm kind
Mm-hmm.
of trying to look at like what's the most like, I guess, reasonable. I kind of like don't like taking too much risk sometimes because I know I've been in positions a lot of times where like I'm living paycheck to paycheck or I'm not,
Yeah.
I don't have money for the next day. So it's like sometimes I still want to be like more secure about it.
Yeah.
But I do know that having risk is the only way to, have more,
Risk
a
comes from
better
not
outcome.
knowing. It's a
Yeah,
false narrative. Risk comes from not knowing. If you understand what you're investing into, you minimize the risk by a lot. If you are investing into something and you feel like you can't sleep at night and you kind of get itchy about it, that's a sign of you telling you, oh, you don't know what you're doing, bro. Be very careful here. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. The point is, risk is normal, but having too much risk is not saying like, hey, that's the only way to make money. The answer is no. If you can assess risks and you can debacle the risk of anything you're doing, have a safety margin, that way you don't carry that much risk. That's why, for example, when you say, oh, is investing in an index fund risky? There's some form of risk there, but there's not that much because you can manage it. Does that make sense?
definitely.
As far as, for example, the question you're asking is also, for example, job versus career. When you see those videos, Tommy side hustle this, Tommy ATM this here, whatever. The big thing is those are all things you can do on the side. While you have, for example, a career also. A job is something you do for money. A career is something you get enjoyment and fulfillment from. So what do you do right now, Isaiah?
I'm currently unemployed, but I'm been going back and doing stuff like trying to find work and everything like that. I've been really good at like retailing and customer service. That's kind of like what I've been doing and going up the chain from there.
Mm-hmm.
My last position was a supervisor, so like right behind the ASM.
Okay.
So I'm kind of trying to find positions like that because I know that's going to give me a higher income.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, yeah, I'm currently unemployed,
How old are
but I'm
you?
going to school. 22.
22. What are you going to school for?
I want to be a meteorologist or something along the lines of that.
Okay. What's the average wage for a meteorologist?
Anywhere from I think 70,000 to 120,000 is kind of gets where what your position is and like how long you're there for. But there's a lot of different paths you can go with meteorology.
Okay. Now, here's why I think when it comes to college, when it comes to any career out there, right? The first thing is I wouldn't recommend going into crazy debt. So while you're in college and you're doing all this stuff, you have multiple jobs, apply for scholarships, financial aid, everything possible, so you can pay off school. When it comes to picking a career, the biggest thing is, do you like it? Okay, if you like it, great. Are you good at it? If you're good at it, great. Does it make you money? If it is, yes, then great. But when it comes to meteorology, you gotta calculate like, hey, okay, how much money am I gonna make? How much is it gonna cost me? What about my time? On top of also, what are the job prospects for the future? And all of those factors. When you go, for example, picking a career, it's a business decision because you're putting a lot of money into it. Now, one thing is, not every passion has to be monetized. So if your passion is meteorology, but you can do a career where you also like it at the same time, something maybe with retail management or like big management, like CEO whatever of a real estate company, whatever it is. If you can do that as a career to earn money and you still like it, and you can do meteorology on the side as a hobby, but you still get enjoyment from it and it's your passion, that's fine too. It could be vice versa also. If you want to do the whole thing as a full career, you can do that also. But the biggest thing right now at age 22 is you got to work towards having a career. Doing that means, for example, you got to make money to pay for it. So that means 2 jobs or 3 jobs. It means not going out that much. It means paying for school, applying for a lot of scholarships, getting financial aid, and doing the whole thing. Does that make sense?
Definitely, yeah. I actually do like how you know gave more thought into the retail position, and if I do get higher
Mm-hmm.
up and things like that, to actually
Mm-hmm.
just if I'm actually making really good money there, and then not so much on the meteorology, or or
Yeah.
vice versa, have that as a side. But I really do like that. I didn't really actually think about that kind of
Yeah.
option.
And,
Um,
and you can find some retail companies where they actually help you pay for college as long as there's relevance to to like your career. So you can find maybe like I know Starbucks, for example, I think is in Arizona. They help pay for your entire like college. So does Chipotle. So does other companies out there. So it's about finding an employer in some way that's going to help you with it. And if you really like meteorology, you can do that on the side if you want to and get a position in retail or in management or whatever you want to get a position in.
You've got to stop.